The Army Corps' primary mission had become rewriting history and duping the American people. They almost got away with it. Chapter 1. Goodbye, New Orleans. "Pack like you're not coming back home," barked my husband Steve to our college-aged son. "Dad, that's a terrible way to wake me up," grumbled Mark, startled by this grim command. It was 6 a.m. on August 28, 2005, the day before a major hurricane was forecast to strike the southeast coast of Louisiana. 2 hours earlier, the National Weather Service, NWS, had upgraded the storm to Category 5, the highest measure on the Saffir-Simpson scale. After rousting the rest of us none too gently, Steve explained that this was a bad one, and he did not think we could get back to our house sooner than 3 weeks. "Mark, pack everything you need right now to go straight back to college." Then, to all of us, he said, "We're out the door in an hour." Steve, Mark, and our 15-year-old son Stanford had spent the prior day boarding up our 2-story house under a blazing sun. In the 88-degree heat, they put plywood on every window of our uptown New Orleans home. Category 5 winds are over 154 miles per hour, and we prepared for them. Born and raised in this historic city, my husband knew well the damage the storm's winds could inflict. 40 years earlier, Hurricane Betsy had plowed through the city with winds up to 110 miles per hour. In 1965, the technology to provide early warnings had not yet been invented. By the time the city's residents knew that a hurricane was churning toward them, it was too late to evacuate. Steve's family did what everyone else did. They hunkered down and weathered the storm. All night long, the winds battered the house with a deafening noise. At daybreak the next morning, Steve recalled, he pried open the front door and saw that all the leaves had been stripped from the trees and had plastered every house, building, and structure with a new coat of bright green. It was a breathtaking memory. But he also remembered having no electricity, no air conditioning, and no ice for 6 weeks. Born and raised in Massachusetts, I had never experienced the childhood excitement of a hurricane passing over my house, but I had heard all about it in my 27 years of marriage. I understood that if the oncoming hurricane was slow-moving and dropped a lot of rain, we could have some water in the house. Natural river levees to the south and natural lake levees to the north team up with man-made canal levees to the east and west. If the rain fell too fast, the pump stations could not keep up. So while the menfolk were boarding up the house, I was inside doing the lighter work of moving furniture and curtains out of harm's way. We were fortunate to have 2 stories. However, the Millers were not as fortunate. 9 miles away, in the Lake Vista neighborhood of New Orleans, Harvey and Renee Miller decided to ride out the storm in their home. After all, they had ridden out at least 5 or 6 storms. And besides, they had a safe harbor if needed. Keys to an empty 2-story house only 2 doors away. Their own home, and every other house in the neighborhood, was single-story. After boarding up the exterior, Steve went to the front yard and plucked 10 almost ripe papayas from our trees. They would be good eating in the days ahead, when we would be living mainly on unhealthy fast food. Though Steve was convinced that we would not be able to come home for 3 weeks, there was a chance that he may be wrong. So in the kitchen we bought time by placing 4 large pots of water in the freezer. Just before departing for our evacuation destination, we would divide the pots between the freezer and refrigerator to create vestiges of old-fashioned ice boxes. The slowly melting chunks of ice would help keep our food from perishing for up to 3 days without electricity. A habitual list maker, I adhered to the same hurricane evacuation list I had used just 1 year earlier for Hurricane Ivan. In advance